Hi everyone. I'm just hopping on to share something that I've made, which talks through my journey as part of Nudge and being a social entrepreneur, starting something from very little and working your way up, and some of the feelings and some of the challenges around that. So this is the first half. And this is when we started Nudge over here. And so to start off with, it was pretty sunny and people could see the progress that we were making. But as we started to make this progress, we were taking more and more risks and there were more and more complexity. And so we could see all of this brilliant gorgeousness that started to play out on the street with individuals and all of that sort of thing. You can see that I was eating snacks whilst I was making it. And then these are some of the highs and lows that most people have experienced or that we've talked about around maybe trying to buy buildings and missing out on them, the trickiness around scaling and staffing and those sorts of things. Obviously, COVID and the pandemic was hugely challenging, taking on more buildings and bigger risk. And then under here, the sort of experience for me and probably Wendy as well started to feel more disconnected from what you would see from the outside. So these are all our dark imaginings, the things that we perceive as failures or haven't gone as well as they could, or things that we thought would happen that haven't happened, the things that keep us awake at night, all of that stuff that has got increasingly hard, and all the personal stuff that we're juggling alongside work and growing a small business. But loads of light. And then this is kind of how this year has felt, where it's kind of felt like increasingly tricky. Like we know we've taken on a lot and there's some real challenges, and we know that there's some big things that we really need to achieve. And so I've set these out in these big blocks here. So there's kind of 4 or 5 big things that we need to get over the line in some shape or form in the next year. And we've got no clear plan to do that. So it's got a lot less linear from like build up. And this was our 5-year plan, and we just sort of delivered it and smashed it out really in about 4 years. Whereas now, even the capacity to plan is really tricky because there's so much going on, everything from like individuals that we speak to and are supporting day to day, to some of the bigger investments that we've made and things like that. So we've been sort of swirling around in this a little bit, and it's not that it's like the end of the world. It's just really tricky to sort of unpick the best route through, and the way that I've been sort of imagining that is kind of hanging on to these sort of almost like stepping stones. What are the things that are within our control that we can do that get us into a stronger place? Loads of stuff, which is all this black and grey, is completely out of our control. It's decisions that funders would make, investors will make, things that, we can't really control. But amongst all of this is our hope and our resilience. So we absolutely know in some shape or form we are going to scale and continue to make the impact that everybody wants us to make. It's just really complicated to figure out how to do that and how to do it in the Nudge way. And it's not just down to us, it's down to a lot of external influences as well. But we know that will come. So we're going through these growing pains where we haven't got a lot of staff. We're stretched. We're tackling a lot of things that we've never done before, and unpicking a lot of complexity, working with organisations and people that we've never done before. really tricky conversations around some really sort of systemic issues, I guess, problems that play out in our community, and thinking about what is that sort of nudge route to addressing those. And then this is the future. So obviously a little bit calmer than it was before. So I'm hoping we get through this. We continue to scale. We continue to take risks. We embrace these ups and downs. That's absolutely what Nudge is about, and why we're making the change happen that we do. But in the background, I'd like to feel a little bit more steady. So, for my experience and the team's experience to be a little bit more aligned, and maybe not quite so erratic as some of the highs and lows that play out for us as an organisation. And then down here, these bubbles, I was thinking, like, what are these? These are people or organisations, partnerships, ideas, things that might bring us joy and might top us up in different ways. These things here help to make sure that we don't end up right down on the bottom like we were feeling down here, but actually that we absolutely have the support and the boost. This could be like strategic stuff, could be policy changes, all of those sorts of things that start to decrease the barriers and some of the real challenges that we have, the judgments that people make on us and things like that, really challenging some of that stuff. So that's all down here, and that this is us going off to the future. So I hope you've enjoyed having a look at it. I'm going to write a blog about it as well. So if you haven't had time to watch this, or you want to know a little bit more, I'm going to sort of unpick some of the thinking that went through into making this. Thank you. Bye.